Hey guys, I'm Mindy Brandstrom. I'm one of the lead aides for the IBI department in special education. Guys, we're going to be talking about visual schedules today. So visual schedule is a graphic representation of scheduled tasks and activities. They're very useful for breaking down tasks that have multiple steps and ensure that the students stay on task. Visual schedules can reduce anxiety by providing consistency while also reducing avoidance that comes with certain activities. A visual schedule itself is a reminder to students where they should be, what they should be doing, and where to start and finish. So some things to keep in mind when implementing a visual schedule is to be effective, teachers, parents, anyone, it needs to be taught. If the student doesn't know how to use it, they're not going to use it at all. So they should ensure that the student understands the concept of the activities and go through that process of how the schedule works with them. Another thing to remember is the schedule needs to be manageable. If it's too overwhelming, a kid's not going to use it. We want to teach them to be successful and independent, so if it's too overwhelming, they're not going to touch it. So we want to make it more manageable for them so they're successful in using it on their own. One thing I like to do is personalize the schedule, put their name on it, make it their favorite color, put their favorite character on it. That way they're more willing to buy into it. The more the student can relate to it, the more likely they are to use it. Another thing to remember is when it's time for a scheduled activity to occur, students can be provided a quick cue. This is after the schedule has been taught and they know how to use it. A teacher can give a cue, a parent can give a cue, maybe even another peer in the classroom can kind of remind them, hey, check your schedule, go see what's next. Prompts are only given when necessary. Either verbal or nonverbal prompt can be used. If the student doesn't respond to the initial prompt, we want to go ahead and provide maybe a higher prompt, and eventually we want to phase the prompts out so where the student is using their schedule all on their own. Everyone likes to cross items off their list. I know I do. It's important to give students a way to show that they've successfully completed an activity. Visual schedules need to be accompanied by some form of reward, especially where a student can complete a task independently. So this can take form of like a treat, verbal praise, a high five, or some sort of fun activity. I have a couple schedules here, little examples. This one I made for a particular student, so I put their name at the top and their favorite color just to get kind of more some buy-in into it. This kiddo in particular, we could just write down what the schedule was and they could check it off or they could erase it. Oftentimes you'll see these schedules with icons velcroed to them, and they can take those icons off and then go match it to where the activity is in the classroom or at home. Either way is great. Another schedule that's easy to use if you don't have something like this is just a quick piece of paper written down. Again, you can put their name at the top, what the activities are, and the student can either cross it off, they can put a check mark next to it, or they can erase it, kind of whatever their preference is. Another thing I like to use is a whiteboard. Same thing, cross it off. They can check it off or they can just erase it just to show that, hey, this activity's done, what's next? Visual schedules are a great tool to use. I love using them, I know our kids love using them, and they're awesome. Thanks.